Mr. Speaker, really, to try and, I mean, look, how desperate are they? WA Inc. has fallen apart because we've established the real WA Inc.'s over there, with the old established, with Red, not Red Fred, Dead Fred,
Order.
as he's been called by his colleagues around
the
the member for Pearce. I can't say the late member for Pearce because he's still here. I want to say this. There have been noises in this place and others that a gold tax should be. Well, we can't be perfect, can we, Mr. Speaker? Noises on this place and others that a gold tax should be introduced, Mr. Speaker. But listen to this one. No one would dare impose such a tax, says Senator Panizza. And then he's got another one headed, all that glitters. We are killing the goose that's been laying a very valuable egg, Senator John Panizza asked today. Are we killing the goose that laid a very valuable egg, Senator John Panizza? Yeah, but laying the egg for whom? Obviously not the nation, only the people who they received election funding from. Were about changing the leadership of the Liberal Party because Mr Howard was too expensive a person to the gold industry to be maintained as leader of the Liberal Party. They were not going to. They were not going to have any. They were not. I know. I mean, the message had gone out on you, John. They'd put a contract on you, old boy. They'd put a contract on you. The Goldies had put a contract on you. And what's more, they made it. They made it. And they only came unstuck when Cro-Magnon got out there bragging about it on television. Now,
order. The Treasurer is answering the question. The Honourable Treasurer.
I will draw to a close, Mr. Speaker, and just say that it is a pretty serious circumstance when good instincts, and on this, the member for Bennelong had good instincts. I mean, he's not all bad, Mr. Speaker. He's not all bad. He had good instincts on this, and that was he knew it was a ramp and a rort, that all minerals were taxed, all minerals were taxed, and it was indefensible, and that the party posturing notwithstanding, he is prepared to get up and support such a thing to be basically rolled over by the member for Kooyong with the support of these people from Western Australia. It is a serious incident in our national affairs. A serious incident in our national affairs. And what we discover now is basically done for money, for the support which the old gold industry and the new gold industry had been giving to the Western Australian Liberal Party to maintain the distortion. That is the member for Pearce's favourite distortion and favoured distortion. Now, this is, as I said, in the broadest sense of the word, rather than specific in a personal cash sense, this is corruption of our national affairs. Corruption of our national affairs.
Prime Minister.
All this question proves if you've been on the backbench for too long, you shrivel up. You shrivel up. And that's why everyone ought to get a crack at ministerial work, because at least it keeps your mind going. Now, poor old Phil has thinks he with his hard-hitting question.
The Prime Minister will refer the member by his title.
Well, our
member
dear
for Dundas.
honourable friend over there, the minister has got some problems with some members of the Immigration Committee. I mean, for a very large part of his history, the minister's had problems with the other half of the Labor Party. And even on occasions with me, Mr. Speaker. And of course he wears that as a badge of honour, a badge of courage. It's a serious question. But I noticed that in your party room there was a lot of bonhomie yesterday, was there? Eh? You had the member for Boothby protesting at your party meeting about car policy. He knows the car industry will be wiped out, and I know that. Well, it may have been last week. Right? The thing is, Mr. Speaker.
Order. The House will come to order.
It's very interesting that the member for Hawke is very worried about the 3,500 employees in the motor vehicle industries in her electorate.
Order. The Prime Minister might resume his seat.
Jim Dandy.
The Honourable Prime Minister.
I have been here 23 years and I do know the standing orders. And I do know the prerogatives of ministers at question time. Now, Mr. Speaker,
order.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, the thing is that the member for Goldstein, who was referred to just humorously by the Minister for Education, said that he has nearly 3,000 people in the motor industry at risk from the opposition's policies. The member for Ballarat nearly 1,000, the member for Higgins over 1,000, the member for Isaac's over 1,400. There's a lot of discontent on your side of the House about your policies. And there are people wandering around saying that the GST is not a goer. Our friend from Brisbane, the member for Ryan, principal among them, understands that the Liberal Party was a black hole for the state Liberal Party in the suburbs of Brisbane after the election, and that the GST is not a goer. You've got the member for Bennelong wandering around saying, look, I was only given one go at the leadership, and the member for Kooyong was given 2 goes. Oh God, here he is. The old country yokel up again.
The Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, so the member for Bennelong still fancies himself as another shot before the next election. He said he had 1 go where the member for Kooyong had 2. The fact is, Mr. Speaker, there's lots of rivalries on the other side of the House, and so therefore it is pointless. It's pointless the member asking me questions about arguments inside caucus committees. The fact of the matter is, Mr. Speaker, that there's a lot of dissension on the other side of the House. And as for the point of order taker, if he's out here trying to outshine the leader of the National Party, he's only got to be on his feet and dressed to do that.
The Prime Minister.
Come on, that's the sort of question you get in first-year economics at university. That's about it, Mr. Speaker. No. Had I would have been a failure like you. Mr. Speaker, I could have ended up like you. So what happened? The lemmings of the bond market sold their bonds. And when you sell a bond, let me just explain, just put this to you in ABC terms. When you sell it and the price goes down, the yield goes up. When the bond gets less valuable, the yield rises for a given coupon. Do you understand that? And so therefore, out of absolute failure to understand the differences between the two economies, lemming-like, they sell their bonds and the yields rise, and the government's supposed to go, in that case, we will go over the cliff with them. We'll go over the cliff with the lemmings. And we'll say, we won't worry about the 500,000 unemployed. We won't worry about a more efficient microeconomic change in the labour market. We won't worry about skill shortages and recovery. We won't worry about complements to skill formation. What we'll do is we'll spend the money reducing the budget deficit. Meanwhile, with no guarantee there would have been any change in interest rates, simply only that the people who are now talking their book, having sold the bonds cheaper, they're not going to now commit themselves to the fact, are no longer going to commit themselves to the fact that they can take a lower interest rate. Because if they take a lower interest rate, it means the price of the bond rises, so that magnifies the mistake which they've already made. So they're talking their book, and you want to regard that. They're talking their book as some sort of high spiritual mystic science. That the rest of you got to say, therefore they're a free financial market. They must have got it right. Grow up, for God's sake, grow up. Mr. Speaker, I ask that further questions be placed in the notice.